I couldn't find my record button.
I almost fucked it up. I almost hit it at when you said three instead of three, two, one. I
That's
almost
fine.
ruined
I could have
everything.
fixed it.
I know, but like we've been so
No, we've
good for
been
so
so
long.
perfect.
Like,
It's
I
recording
mean,
is
not to toot
fairly
our own horns,
not
but
recording. Editing is fairly easy. All I have to do is
uh,
throw in Kyle's music, which, by the way, music here.
Oddities. Stay strange.
shout out to Kyle Head Music. Thanks for the sick intro. I listen to it sometimes just for fun.
I listen to our intro at minimum 5 times when
Can
I'm
you just
editing,
spin that
essentially, because it's so good.
It like scratches something I didn't
It
know
really does
needed
scratch something
scratching,
in our
you
brain.
know. Yeah, it just feels good.
Not to
Thank you,
toot our own
Kyle.
horn or anything. Thank you, Kyle, so much for doing that, because
Thanks, chef.
didn't know we were missing something so crucial, but you did, and
And he did. And the
you
whispers, we love a good ASMR moment. It's all good.
it's amazing.
So, I'm sorry, you were saying.
What was I? Oh, editing is just we're flawless. Toot toot.
I mean, a toot fucking toot. So, welcome back to Oddities. I'm your one of your flawless hosts, Cassie.
I'm your other flawless host, Kelly. I was about to say Cassie.
Also, Cassie. Surprise. And
If
welcome
this
back to Strangetown.
is any indication of how our morning is going,
Yeah. Oh, you know what I just. Oh, first of all, information's in the description, including Kyle's information, but also all of our social media, our merch, our. Help me, Patreon, and our website.
hmm
And please, we have a couple of you who have written in with stories. We need just like maybe one or two more. So if you have any personal stories to share, send them, and we'll
send
do
them,
another
please.
listeners episode because we're getting ready. I'm excited. I love these. Um, shout out, shout out to the person on YouTube who said that they almost stopped listening to us because of the 10 minutes of essentially like BS convo at the beginning. First of all, welcome to the Odd Fam. I think you're new here, so welcome. Thanks for listening. And if you don't want to hear this, just so you're aware, there's usually 10 to 13 minutes at the beginning of every episode. It's a consistent thing. So feel free to skip ahead and you'll find your sweet spot there where the topics will start. So thanks again.
This is our skit.
This is it. Yeah, this is,
Yeah,
yeah. I
we are the
can
prattling
under.
cows.
We are. Welcome, welcome. Yes, to your two favorite prattling cows. You're probably not even listening anymore at this point, which is fine. And that's cool. But we are not going to stop doing it because so many people enjoy it. Why? I don't know, but people love it. So
They love our shit.
they love our shit. So anyway,
When did we get
see
this
you.
comment, and why didn't you tell me?
We got it earlier this week, and frankly, I was just too tired. I was like, okay, and that was it. So anyway, we've seen your comment and we hear you, but we're also not going to stop doing it because so many people enjoy it. So feel free to skip ahead, and
Also,
we
feel
hope you
free to
continue
buy our
listening.
merch. Two prattling cows.
Two prattling cows represent. Um, how is my bestie?
I am good. Another wonderful
Day in
week.
paradise. Yes.
The tall one started back up at school this week, and the teacher reminded us that we have like almost less than 40 days left of the school year, which is kind of
What? You're
yeah.
right.
I was like, whoa. It's just like okay.
You're like, oh. Do you guys have like camps or anything planned for summer?
There's a few science camps that I think the tall one
Neat.
will enjoy, and then there's a few like activity camps that I think the short one will enjoy. And
I
I'm
love
looking
that.
into those a little bit more. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. I don't know if they're ready yet,
Okay.
kind of a thing. Um, so we'll see. um,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm. We'll we've got summer plans regardless. You know, we always go up to Big Bear and we always do the camping and all that fun stuff. So, you know, fun stuff ahead. Um, Today specifically, I'm gonna go celebrate my birthday early with my parents.
Whoop whoop! But by the
We're
time this
going
comes out, your birthday is. We did birthday
way
recording
past.
last week. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
We're gonna go to the Ronald Reagan Library because they always have fascinating exhibits. And right now
I'm
they've got
excited for you.
yeah. We're gonna go to. They have a Star Wars exhibit, so I'm excited about that. And then get some yummy Mexican with a biggie margarita. So
Or two. Get a
or two.
picture.
Why not?
You know, more the merrier. Might as well.
So
That
this
sounds
place
wonderful.
specifically that I love is their salsa is never made the same way. It's made fresh every day and they don't follow a recipe. So
Oh, variety is the
it's
spice
just
of life.
always delicious and
I love me some fresh ass salsa.
yeah, it's really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Chips
So,
and salsa, I could just go fucking ham on that
ham.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, every
And that
time.
immediately
Especially
put the small pig voice in my head.
go ham.
I don't know why, but immediate small pig voice.
I love that. I do call Corey hamsome instead of handsome. So,
Love that.
there's a little peek behind the curtain there. Well, that all sounds wunderbar. I love it for you. It sounds like a great day.
How's my bestie?
Bro. Your bestie's fine. I still haven't won the lottery, so
Same. It's getting really irritating.
I will continue to try.
Same.
But,
Just making the pot bigger at this point.
yeah, we're just, it's an investment really. It's an investment into the winnings. I have date day today with Corey,
A very
and
good
it was
one,
his
too.
turn to plan. Yes, he's done a great job. I'm very excited. So, like a town, 2 towns over from us, has this little plant nursery, and they're doing a class, and we get to make gourd chickens. Mine's gonna be fucking lit. I know my chicken's gonna come out great.
I'm just very excited. I want pictures.
I will send you pictures. Corey tends to get very creative with this type of thing, so his chicken's gonna look
I'm excited.
something else. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then he found a witchy shop with all kinds of cool witchy goods that we're gonna check out. And then we're gonna go get Greek food. Yes.
I love this for you guys.
It's gonna be a great afternoon for sure.
Yeah.
So super duper looking forward to it. And tomorrow will probably be spent doing some shit outside for our yard that needs much help. So we
Because
will
of all
be
the rain
doing
you guys
that.
have been getting. Our yard
Yes.
needs help because of all the rain we've been getting, so.
I'll tell you what though, we couldn't have planned it better in terms of when we planted our garden because we planted our seeds and then the next day the rain started and I haven't had to water that shit once.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, we'd love to see it. So,
You know what? For Christmas, my parents gave us a Christmas cactus, and it's this gorgeous plant. It blooms gorgeously. I love it. It's like I'll send a picture of it to you. It has been very sad lately.
oh no.
And I was like very depressed about it. I was like, I love this plant. I don't want it to die. What am I doing wrong? Because it's very particular. No direct sunlight. Water it once a week. And I've been following all these rules, but it has been very sad. And then I read once that you should water it with rice water. You water...
Rice
rinse
water.
you know how you rinse your rice before cooking it?
Yeah.
So that water that has rinsed, use that rinsed water to water it. It was perky
Interesting.
within less than 24 hours.
Wow.
So, save your rice water and water your stuff with that. Let me tell you, it works.
I never would have considered that. Interesting.
And then
The
you're
more
not
you
wasting
know.
water.
That's true. You're just putting it in your plant.
Yep. It's recycling.
Very cool. Very cool. Look at us being sustainable, earth conscious bitches.
There you go.
Love that. So
Helpful
that's
tips.
cool. I have no helpful tips. I learned. Oh, you know what I have to tell you about though? Did I already tell you about this? There's a show on Netflix. It's called Resident Alien. We started watching it and it's fucking hilarious.
Okay, well then, Michael.
Absolutely hilarious.
Look at that.
Highly recommend to any of our listeners too. That's been giving us it's been a hoot and a half.
It's been funny because you said Resident, and I was like, I'm watching it. And then you're
The
like, Alien, and
resident
I was like, not watching it.
plot twist. Yeah, no, it's literally, so it's about. Well, I'm not gonna tell you guys what it's about. Fuck y'all. You'll just have to wait
Just
and
watch
see.
it.
Just watch it. Not sponsored, but it's a great show. In case anybody's wondering. I'm also making my way through my fairy smut I've been reading, and that's
I
really all I got.
literally, okay, favorite text of Cassie this week. I have multiple. First
Oh
off,
yeah.
TikToks that I sent
Oh.
Cassie this week involved one guy just going insane, realizing all women read smut.
Mm-hmm.
And they read it everywhere. And
We do.
Cassie responded with, and we read it with a straight face.
We do. At least I do. Totally dead on the
Yeah,
outside. Well, yep.
we're
Just
all dead
nothing.
on the outside reading it. You don't know what we're reading.
Nobody
Enjoy.
knows. Mysterious like that, you know?
And half the time I'm on my Kindle and I've got the Kindle
Me
app on my
too.
phone. So
So nobody knows.
nobody knows. You don't know what I'm reading. Enjoy.
Yep. Love
And
that.
I think the best part about that video was the guy started looking up these books when he was like on the subway. He was like noticing women reading, so he started looking up the books that they were
It
reading
was,
and was just freaking out over all the smut that was around him.
it was the waterfall of emotion for me.
Yeah.
That just got me. I thought it was hilarious.
It
That was a
was
good one.
specifically the roommate. He goes, "I'm next to you, just eating off-brand Chex Mix or whatever."
I know. I know.
My second favorite text of you from this week was yesterday. We just had an
Uh,
earthquake.
yes, I forgot to speak on that. We had a casual earthquake here on the East Coast. It was not huge, but it was
It
there.
was just the casualness of her, and I was me going, "What the fuck? That doesn't happen."
I know. And you know what? This will just tell you a lot about my fight or flight. It happened. I just continued to like sit here and go on with my day. So
You know
there
what
was
is?
no fight. I just accepted it. I was like, well, I'm on a call, and if something goes wrong, then I'm just gonna die, and so be it.
It's rather funny because like a lot of the time I go, "Are we having an earthquake?" And I often like look at our fan and wait to see if something's moving.
That's how I knew because my computer monitors started jiggling, and I was like, first I went through my list of rational reasons. I was like, are the dogs fucking around and is shaking? And then I didn't hear anything, and I was like, no. Is there a plane flying overhead close by? No sound. No. And I was like, must be an earthquake. And I was on a call, and I literally said, quote, wow, I think we're having an earthquake. Anyway, and then I just carried on with what we were talking.
Did anybody react to your "Wow, I think we're having an earthquake"?
They just laughed because I just like carried
You were
on.
so nonchalant about it. I love
Yeah, I
that.
was like, wow, I think we're having an earthquake. Anyway, and then I just moved on. I was presenting something, so I don't know if they were really paying attention anyway to
Love
begin with.
that.
So
That's what woke
like,
them up.
yeah. Anyway, here's what the game plan is for the rest of the quarter. So anyway, that was something this week.
God, I love that.
Yeah, it was a colorful week. Now that we've hit our 13 minutes, so we can continue to piss various people off,
Yes.
should we get to the good shit?
Yes, we should. Because I think you're
All
really
right.
gonna love my shit.
Can we start with your shit then? Because I'm like, I really want to hear it. Or are you going to make me wait?
No, I can start with my shit. You like me to?
Yay, yes.
So this topic is brought to us by cousin Nathan. Thank you, cousin Nathan.
Thank you, cousin Nathan.
I'm not gonna lie, he suggested this to me and I was immediately fascinated, so much so that it immediately had to be covered. It couldn't
Oh my
wait.
god, well,
And
then,
for obvious reasons, I already told you the topic name.
true.
Today I'm covering the Radium girls.
Which I love. I'm so excited to hear about these bitches.
So, the Radium girls. Who are the Radium girls? At the onset of World War I, several factories were established across the United States to produce watches and military dials that were painted with none other than radium.
Oops. Oops. It's a learning curve, kids.
It was painted with a material called radium, a radioactive element that glowed in the dark.
I was going to say, is it because so it could glow? Yep.
Yeah. Hundreds of young women were hired for this well-paying painting job because of their small hands and delicate work. Men couldn't do it, obviously.
Well, the finer species. What
Yep.
can I say? Yep.
And
And we just got it stuck up our ass once again.
they really got screwed. That's
I
there's
mean,
plot.
are we surprised?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all right.
Radium had been discovered just 20 years earlier by French physicist Marie Curie and
My girl.
Curie, and its properties were not well known yet, right?
Oops.
Because it had just been used successfully in the treatment of cancer. So it was believed that it was a miracle drug or a miracle thing
Oops.
and actually safe.
You know what? Like I said, we're all just out here learning as we
Yeah.
go.
It was genuinely believed to be a miracle element, actually, and it was manufactured in products such as makeup and toothpaste and other cosmetics.
Jesus Christ. I'm not surprised, but you know what?
Yeah,
It really is a miracle element. It's really interesting in its own way, just not what they thought.
yeah. The women hired to paint the dials came to be known as ghost girls because the radium dust to which they were exposed to daily made their clothes and hair and skin literally glow.
Okay, first of all, that's so badass. I mean, at least that's like a cool aspect for them. It's, all the terrible fallout that occurs, but
Yeah.
afterwards. But regardless, love that.
Many of the women actually wore their best dresses to the job so the fabric would shine brilliantly. So when they went dancing after work, they looked their best.
We love a strategy. Love a strategy.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Why not? Might as well.
Some even applied the paint to their teeth because it gave them radiant smiles.
I, I really like I understand. Like
They were
I
led
get
to
why they
believe
would.
that there was no
Yeah.
repercussions with this, that it was completely safe to be around.
I feel terrible,
Yeah.
but I get why they were doing what they were doing. They're like,
Um,
yeah.
the painters even ingested, obviously because they were using it in their teeth, but they even ingested the substance as a part of their job because the watch dials that they worked on were extremely small and they were told to use their lips
Oh,
to make the paintbrushes a fine point. Um, when they asked about the radium safety, they were assured that by their managers they had absolutely nothing to worry about. They were told multiple times that they had nothing to worry about.
honestly, did the managers even know though?
That
You know?
Yeah, I don't know if they knew in the beginning, but it seems like they knew at the end.
Oops. Okay, and there we
So,
go. I tried to give them a bone there. I was
yeah.
like,
I was
they
trying to give them a bone in the beginning, but you'll see towards the end.
okay. All right.
Um, of course, that wasn't true. Radium can be extremely dangerous, especially with repeated exposure. Marie Curie suffered radiation burns while handling it, and she eventually died from radiation exposure. Um, Other researchers also perished because of the drug, or not the drug, the element. Um, It wasn't long before the Radium girls began to experience physical issues of the exposure. Among the first was Amelia Molly Maggia, who painted watches for the Radium Luminous Materials Corp., later to be known as the United States Radium Corp., in Orange, New Jersey.
Ah, there we are. The dirty jers.
Molly's first symptom was a toothache, which required the removal of the tooth. Soon, the tooth next to it also had to be extracted. Painful ulcers and bleeding and
Oh,
full pus developed where the teeth had been. Um, Mysterious malady spread throughout her mouth and the lower jaw, which had to be completely removed.
oh my God, poor
Yep.
Molly. Okay.
Then to other parts of her body. Molly died on September 12th, 1922, of a massive hemorrhage. Doctors were puzzled and the cause of her condition, and oddly, they determined that she died of syphilis. Yeah.
I'm just gonna. All right. Anyway,
In growing numbers, the other Radium girls became deathly ill, experiencing many of the same agonizing symptoms as Molly. For 2 years, their employer aggressively denied any connection between the girls' deaths and their work, facing a downturn in business because of the growing controversy. The company finally commissioned an independent study of matter, which concluded that the painters had died from the effects of radium exposure.
Finally.
Refusing to accept the report's findings, the company commissioned additional studies that came to the opposite conclusion, and the girls who had taken ill, the public continued to assume that radium was safe.
Oh boy. Okay.
Which that just makes me believe that they paid other
Yeah, right.
investigators off to say, nope, that report was wrong. It is
They would
actually
have had
safe.
to. Like,
Right? They paid somebody
yeah.
off completely.
Yeah.
In 1925, a pathologist named Harrison Martland developed a test that proved conclusively that radium had poisoned the watch painters by destroying their bodies from the inside. The radium industry tried to discredit Martland's findings, but the Radium girls themselves fought back.
Yes.
Many knew that their days were numbered, but they wanted to do something to help their colleagues still working with the deadly substance. In 1927, attorney Raymond Barry agreed to accept their case. Many of the watch painters had just months to live and were forced to accept an out-of-court settlement. Still, their experiences made the issue of radium safety a front-page story across the world, but even then, the United States Radium Corp denied its role, and women continued to get sick and die. It wasn't until 1938 when a dying radium worker named Catherine Wolfe Donahue successfully sued the Radium Dial Corps over her illness that was the issue, and she was finally given a settle. The Radium girls, this was so interesting. The Radium girls saga holds an important place in history of both the field of health physics and labor rights movement. The right of individual workers to sue the damages from corporations due to labor abuse was established as a result of the Radium Girls case. In the wake of the case, industrial safety standards were demonstratively enhanced for many decades. The Radium Girls case was settled in the autumn of 1928 before the trial was deliberated by jury, and the settlement for each Radium girl was $10,000, equivalent to $177,000 now, and $600 per year, equivalent to $10,600 now. Paid $12 a week, equivalent to $200 now, and for all of their lives while they lived, and medical and legal expenses incurred were also paid by the company.
There, we like to see that.
The lawsuit and resulting publicly was a factor in establishment of the occupational disease labor law. The radium dial painters were instructed to proper and safety precautions provided by protective gear in particular, and no longer shaping the brushes with their mouths.
I would hope not.
And ingesting or breathing the paint. Radium paint was still used in dials as late as the 1970s, actually.
Holy shit, really?
Yep.
That is shocking to me. I mean, well, yeah.
I think it's amazing that because of the Radium girls, there was actually such a historical impact.
Yes, we love to see it.
They were such a part of a huge reason for labor rights, and we have them to thank for that.
Yes, this ties in well with the shirt factory that we just covered.
It really does. I kind of wish I had known about it sooner, because if we could have done really a whole... Yeah.
That's okay. I love this. This was great.
I
mean, I hate that it happened, but good topic.
I really love these girls. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. Queens.
So, yeah. I hate what happened to them. to them.
Yeah, terrible
Um,
suffering.
but this was really phenomenal, and I'm thank you, cousin Nathan, for bringing it to
Thank you,
my
cousin
attention.
Nathan.
This was so much fun to read about and learn about, and I'm so fascinated.
I want to know how some of our listeners, cousin Nathan, but like we've had so many write in with different topics.
Hmm.
Where you guys find this stuff? Like, where you come across this shit?
Yeah,
Just curious.
tell us your
Also, why aren't
ways.
these, once again, why aren't these women in the fucking history books? I'm annoyed.
And they need to be in the history book. They were a big part of history.
They were. They had something big came out of all this.
Yes, they weren't. They weren't just nothing.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
Yes, I'm very tired.
Uh,
Again, women are getting
uh,
shafted yet again. So
so's our
there we are.
educational system. Come on.
Yep.
Come on, bros. Anyway,
This is another benefit
excellent job.
to homeschooling. I just want to throw that out there. My kids are going to know about the Radium girls.
Gotta teach them about the Radium girls. All right.
So,
I've got absolutely nothing related to this.
okay.
All right. Today's topic is brought to us by, once again, honorary cousin Michael. Thank you, honorary cousin Michael.
Thank you, honorary cousin Michael.
We appreciate you. I'm covering Indrid Cold.
Oh.
Chilly, chilly. So things always seem mysterious on chilly fall nights in the countryside. For this guy's name is really something else. His name is Woodrow Derenberger. So for Woodrow Derenberger, his mysterious encounter with an almost human grinning man on the back roads of West Virginia one November night would affect him and his family for almost a quarter of a century. Just need to point out, we're in Appalachia again.
There we are.
So just going to leave that there. So in 1966, Woodrow Derenberger was a sewing machine salesman living in Mineral Wells, West Virginia. Of course, that is such a West Virginia town name. Mineral Wells. That's the most West Virginia shit. Anyway, one November night that year, Derenberger said he was returning from a business trip to Marietta, Ohio, when he had to stop to adjust, I guess he was carrying a sewing machine in the back of his truck. So he had to stop and he had to adjust it. Once he got back on the road, he noticed lights ahead of him. And he was like, oh my God, these lights are police officers. Direct quote. Not really.
Love that.
So he
She
stops.
was there. She knows.
I was there. I was with him. So he stops, right? And then he's like, holy shit, those lights don't in fact belong to a car, but they belong to what he said was an aircraft that looked like, quote, a kerosene lamp chimney.
What?
I know. Derenberger said then that a man stepped out and approached his truck. The way I wouldn't roll down my windows, or I'd probably run that guy over. I gotta be honest.
I would have driven off.
I would have been like, bye. And if there was collateral damage, I mean, it happened. So anyway, per Woodrow, quote, he looked perfectly natural and normal as any human being. He shared this with a reporter, Ronald Maines, during an interview on WTAP TV in Parkersburg, West Virginia, the day after the encounter. He said, quote, his face looked like he had a good tan, a deep suntan. He was not too dark, but it was just like he had been out in the sun a lot and had a good tan. His hair was combed straight back, and it was a dark brown, and he seemed to have a good thick head of hair. His eyebrows, his face, his features were very normal. I don't believe that he looked any different from any other man that you would meet on the street, quote. But he wasn't normal, according to Woodrow. Instead,
Nothing about this sounds normal.
first of all, the entire encounter itself was not normal, yes. Then he said he had a large grin and kept his arms folded with his hands up under his armpits. And though he spoke to Derenberger, his smile never moved. He spoke, according to Woodrow Derenberger, telepathically.
No thanks.
Pass. Quote, he asked me to roll down the window on my right-hand side of my truck, and I done what he asked,
No.
Derenberger said during the interview. Hard pass. Absolutely
This
not.
is how people die.
What's unclear to me though is like, did Derenberger have like full control of himself at that point, or was the guy just like making him? I don't know. But
Okay.
anyway, quote. And this man stood there, and he first asked me what I was called, and I know he meant my name, and I told him my name, and he asked me. He said, "Why are you frightened?" He said, "Don't be frightened. We wish you no harm. We mean you no harm. We wish you only happiness." And I told him my name, and when I told him my name, he said he was called Cold. It was essentially Derenberger's and then the world's introduction to the entity that became known as Indrid Cold. So naturally, Derenberger's, yeah, and I don't even know how that whole ordeal wrapped up because all of a sudden, like, my research was like, okay, now he's talking to the police. So Derenberger reports his encounter to the Parkersburg police. He's like, that shit wasn't normal. Y'all need to address this. So by the next day, a media frenzy surrounds the story and it takes off. And so Derenberger agrees to be interviewed on live television on WTAP, like I shared. And taking part in the interview were members of the state police, representatives of the Wood County Airport, the Parkersburg police, and a representative from the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. And for 30 minutes, the men all peppered Derenberger with questions about this, like, encounter or whatever. So after the interview airs, right, all of a sudden other people start coming forward with claims that they'd also seen this tan-ass dude with thick-ass nice hair matching what's-his-face's description of Indrid Cold. And so one man reports that a man matching Indrid Cold's description tried to flag him down, but he was like too afraid to stop, which like snaps for that guy. He was like, "The fuck I'm pulling over, fuck you." Anyway, other people claim to see lights and, quote, fluttering vehicles on the road. The same road, in fact, that Derenberger said he had talked to Cold on. And several other witnesses reported that they had seen Derenberger stopped on the road talking to a man. Again, on the same road that Derenberger reported that this happened. So for the next 3 weeks, newspapers in the area run stories about these claims and the claims of others. Derenberger's claims and the claims of others. News coverage eventually dies down. But apparently Cold's visitations continue because Derenberger reported that he was visited often by this strange dude with the weird fucking smile over the course of the next month. And eventually his family said that they too had seen Cold and other like strange things. So naturally, the media attention given to the story brings locals to Derenberger's house because they want to they want to see this dude. And the attention, as well as the scorn but also ridicule that he was suffering from, led Woodrow to seek medical attention. His physician gave him a clean bill of health and found no evidence of like a chemical imbalance or like some kind of disruption going on, any mental health issues, whatever. So Woodrow eventually writes a book about his visits, but nothing good comes from him recounting his encounter. And in fact, it didn't just negatively affect him, but it ended up affecting his family and his friends as well. His family starts receiving years of harassing phone calls. People are blaming their lost jobs and friends on his tales of Indrid Cold. Tell me how it has anything to do with any of that. I don't know. People are bullies.
It does.
Literally, what is the connection?
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, Derenberger starts to suffer from painful headaches and some depression, and eventually his wife divorces him. And he moves away from the area to try and escape this notoriety that's built up, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, after years of living somewhere else, Derenberger moves back to Mineral Wells before his death in 1990. He dies at the age of 74. This is 23 years after Indrid Cold supposedly pulled him over on the side of the highway. And while he never recanted his statement, he never spoke of them again either. Since then, his account has lingered and it's propelled Indrid Cold into this category and realm, whatever, of rural myths and legends, as well as into tales of the creepy and unknown. And he's kind of just become sort of this not cryptid figure, but a legend, like a local legend, whatever.
Yeah.
Derenberger spoke to John Keel, an author of the Mothman Prophecies, and the legend of Indrid Cold was linked to Mothman, even so far as appearing in the 2002 Mothman Prophecies movies.
Are they saying he's Mothman?
God, I hope so. But I also don't want that for Mothman. Like, I don't want Mothman to
Yeah.
look like this freak with his weird smile. Anyway, it's difficult to tell if it really happened. But it's clear that Darren Berger gained absolutely nothing from coming forward, you know? Um, an author of Skeptoid magazine
Oh my gosh.
says, quote, "Who knows what actually happened to Darren Berger on that strange night? Darren Berger's story did little for him. His obsession with it cost him his job and his wife. And according to Keel, who visited him a year later, they found him, quote, hiding behind drawn curtains from what he believed were, quote, hundreds of UFO believers and skeptics, saying that Indrid Cold and his friends frequently visited the farm, often arriving by automobile for long, friendly chats. According to this skeptoid author, he felt that Darren Berger had become delusional.
Hmm.
I think we can say that cold, lonely nights on isolated rural roads will always be like a good setting for weird encounters with shit. I
Yeah.
mean, rural areas are always the best place for like a creepy tale. It's dark. You've got trees and creeks and murky, like just murkiness and fog, and you're far from the comforting protection of lights and people. It makes for it. I almost want to believe him simply because he gained absolutely nothing from all of this.
Yeah. That's what I.
And those are the times that I believe that like some of this shit is real.
And he like lost everything.
Everything.
He lost everything and still stuck with his story.
He did try to write a book about it, but
Okay.
I don't know that he did that to be like, hey, give me money, because he was already having problems. I don't know if he did it to try to process, if he did it to try to
Yeah. I don't.
make peace with it.
Maybe
I don't know.
cope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He really. But still would gain nothing from it because when you write a book, there's no guarantee it's going to be successful, right?
Nope. And it's not like some major like publishing house came to him. They're like, we want to cut you a deal,
Yeah.
like whatever. So I
Huh.
kind of believe it. If this shit was going to go down, of course it was going to happen in West Virginia. Do I think that Indrid Cold is linked to the Mothman? I really hope not. Though it is weird that they're both like chilling out in West Virginia, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's what I've got about Indrid Cold. Thank you, honorary cousin Michael. This was a fun one.
Yeah, that's fun and very interesting. I'm teetering on believing.
I'm teetering on believing, and I gotta be honest with you, this doesn't scream Mothman to me. It screams like aliens. Like this sounds like some alien shit
It
to
sounds
me.
like some alien shit. You're not wrong. I
Extraterrestrial
don't.
shit.
I'm not. Aside from the Mothman, whatever. I don't think Mothman here.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, as much as I want it to be our Lord and Savior, the Mothman, because I love the Mothman,
Yeah.
I don't want this for the Mothman. But like the other thing too is like the encounter was unsettling, but there wasn't any harm. Like they didn't.
No.
He just was like, "We want you to be happy," with his weird smile on his hands and his armpits. I don't know. I don't know. I guess my question is like, what is Indrid Cold's like motive?
There is none.
Right?
There is no motive. Because
He's just like,
again,
hey.
he lost everything,
Mm-hmm.
didn't gain anything, and stayed with the story the whole time. Didn't change.
I wish more people had come forward about it to have it documented with the police or something prior to him doing that like television interview.
Yeah.
Because that just made me feel like, okay, all those people were just like, now I want a slice of the attention. And they just like came up and they're like, hey, I saw this fucking grinning asshole too.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that I have to ask myself is, okay, now you've got Woodrow. Well, he's dead now, but later on in life, living in his house with his curtains drawn and barricading himself in, and like,
Yeah.
I can't help but wonder, did Woodrow have some other issues going on?
Is there some schizo? Is there some hallucinations?
Yeah, like what do we
'Cause those
what would maybe have
exist.
going on? They do.
Yeah.
Although he had a clean bill of health from his doctor at the one point.
Just
But
'cause
how
you have
often
clean
was he
bill.
being
Yeah.
monitored?
That does raise a lot of questions.
It does. So it's hard to say, but like I said, so okay, I guess where I sit on this is I believe that Woodrow genuinely believed that this happened. I don't think this was a creation that he was doing for any kind of gain. Whether or not there's actually an Indrid Cold figure, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that Woodrow believed it
Yeah.
for no genuinely no like ulterior motive, just simply that
Believed
he
it.
felt truly this happened. Now the thing that blew my mind a little bit was the people who recounted that they drove past and saw him talking to this guy on the side of the road, which is pretty crazy,
Yeah, so if you saw him talking to somebody,
you
yeah.
know. But then also I'm like, okay, are they also just saying that so they can be recounted as a witness and get some attention too? So it's just kind
Yeah.
of a circular, I guess, conversation. And I think that's the case with a lot of these stories.
Yeah.
Chicken or the egg, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, I guess I believe that Woodrow believed it. If I want to stray into the territory of did this happen or not, like I kind of believe maybe it did, possibly. Like this isn't one where I read it and immediately I was like, no, didn't happen. You know,
It's definitely in the possible.
I think so. So
Yeah.
that's Indrid Cold. It was a cool one to research. I feel sad for Woodrow,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it was an interesting one. I don't think there's any linkage to our boy the Mothman.
No.
The Mothman works alone, and Indrid Cold and the Mothman are not one and the same, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Great. So that's what we've got for you. This was a fun episode.
It was. Got a
I
little
love that
history
for
and a
us.
little mystery.
Oh, I love that. Yes, look at you. Ooh, a little history, a little mystery, a little mystery, a little history. Fun. Um, well, friends, let us know what you think about the two topics. Um, as always, we love hearing from you. Again, if you have any more stories you'd like to share with us, please do
Please
write in
email us. Yep.
oddities.talk@gmail.com because we would love to do another listeners episode and we are so close.
Yeah, or you
So,
could even use our little forum on our website.
on our website, that works
Yep.
too. And you can message us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Yep.
And until next time.
Stay strange.